What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another branded crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at XLM, XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then if we have time, the S&P 500. Specifically in today's video, I really want to address the question as to whether or not you guys are confused in the market, whether you believe the markets are going to be headed down, headed higher, or just confused as a whole, trying to figure out exactly where we're going to be headed. I definitely think yesterday's video definitely confused quite a bit of people, and I just want to address that in today's episode as we move forward. So definitely make sure if you're interested in learning, whether or not we're going to be headed higher or lower, or if you are just plain confused as to what's going on with the market, then definitely make sure to watch the video to the end. Also make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can DM me over there. Otherwise, let's jump right into today's episode. Alright guys, so in the technical analysis, as you can see right now, we're on the current coin market cap. You can see top 10 cryptocurrencies pretty much is just a consolidation. Markets are really just consolidating out except for Polkadot. Polkadot is actually up 11%, which is fairly interesting. But all the other cryptocurrencies are mainly just consolidating, if not heading slightly lower. And this is interesting because this is something we've been talking about on the channel for a while. And I just wanted to flash back to, 2 days ago when we discussed this movement. So yesterday's video was a video that was in regards to the money and the market correcting lower, in regards to the fact that we filled the gap that we needed on most of the symmetrical triangles that were forming. We broke through support and then we shorted the market to the downside. And this was fairly standard, but I feel like not many people were able to understand that. So just really quickly, literally that was in yesterday's video. The day before, if we click this, watch what happens. All right, so it's right here. I'm going to play it right now and just listen because this is exactly what I was referring to in the market. You said yesterday's video that, are you bullish or are you bearish? And I think that's a great question. I mean, I'm more bullish than I am a correction, but there is still likely that scenario of correction to the downside. Markets are coming back. We're pumping. Coins are exploding to the upside. It almost makes sense that we're going to see higher levels come through. But we have to consider the ultimatum that we could see correction to the downside. We really can. And that's key for this movement. Just because, or let's just talk in regards to, cryptocurrency and technical analysis. Technical analysis will not gauge 100% of the time which direction the coin wants to go. But it will gauge about 99% of the time the time period that the coin is going to pop in some sort of big volume burst. Whether that's the market dropping or moving up, we're fairly accurate with that. You can use Litecoin, for example. We literally just drew on our downtrend and our supports. They met at the apex right here. And then immediately after that, the coin popped off. I mean, that's when the volume came in. So it's very easy to figure out the time that we're going to see breakouts happen, not necessarily whether or not it's going to be bullish or bearish. We can then take proper precautions to figure out which direction those markets are going to move to. So vice versa. And this is exactly what was said literally 2 days ago in reference to the big pop we just had right now within Stellar Lumens and a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. We were easily able to gauge the apex of this movement of XLM Stellar Lumens. We found the point of breakout, which in our regards happen to break down, which is not really too big of a problem. Yes, a lot of people don't like to see money move lower, but we here on the channel know that it's very easy to short cryptocurrency, especially XLM, now that we have an exchange that supports shorting the market. So it was very easy to take advantage of this short. We knew exactly where we would head to. We knew that if we were to break, we'd fall right down to the moving average on the 4 hour, and that's our opportunity to either move our stop losses or take our profit. And you can see going back into the video exactly what was said. How that would apply to XLM for those ready to trade XLM. We have a clear-cut resistance at 31 cents. If the coin decides to close, let's say today's candle above 31 cents, we can give it a slight leeway, moving it up to maybe 0.317. And the second we see confirmation of a break above that, we know we're going to most indefinitely move to the upside in direction. Vice versa, there's a clear bottom support here. If support gets breached in any sort of sense and we break below 30 cent support level, there's a good chance the coin is going to want to short all the way down to 26 cents. Regardless of direction, so, I mean, this was clear cut. This was clearly explained in my video. This is why I always recommend watching the videos at least in halfway through or to the end of the video, because there is a ton of very important information that is mentioned in every single one. This is exactly what happened to a point, to the T, as to what was mentioned in 2 days ago in that video. And that's exactly what happened in today and yesterday's episodes. So you can see right now, this is exactly what was seen. We saw the 4-hour candle closed. The 4-hour candle closed yesterday right below that barrier of 30 cents. That was our 30 cents support. And what did the market do? We said to buy in for a short if we break below this support. And that's exactly what happened. We bought in for a short, and where did it go to? All the way down to its moving average, right at the 4-hour moving average at 26 cents. That is exactly what was mentioned literally 2 days ago, and that's the plan that we followed. We couldn't figure out the exact point of breakout, the exact point of which direction we would head to, but we had key supports and key resistances, which played a huge role in figuring out when we should be buying in long and when we should be shorting the market. And that's how we took advantage of this, and that's how we made easily like $1,200 to $1,500 just yesterday alone. And that's huge, and that's something you guys have to take advantage of. So now, off to that, let's talk about what exactly is happening now. So now that we have seen the short, now that we capitalized off the short, if your positions are cleared, I definitely take a second just to really take a step back and understand where exactly these coins are going to be moving to, what exactly the market has in store. So we can see if we just, extend our reach a little bit forwards, you can see right now that there is still a very clear support right here at 27 cents and clear resistance up here. There's some sort of channel that this coin has been trading inside of for a long time. Now moving on to the daily, you can see kind of what we're referring to. This is the daily coin. So this plays a huge role in where we're going to be seeing the markets move to in the next couple of days. So if you are confused and trying to figure out where the markets are going to be moving to, this should hopefully answer that question within Stellar Lumens. There's a huge support, as we can see right here. We can even slide this just slightly lower right here, where you can see this bottom support was retested. This was the last point where we decided to wick back up and close that candle before. So honestly, in today's market, we have to see if today's candle closes below this support level. If we close below 27 cents, we know that there is a huge opportunity, and I consider it an opportunity instead of a problem, to short this market all the way back down to at least 18 or 17 cents very quickly. There's going to be a huge pop. You can also see the beautiful support on the coin that is right here. Like I said, 27. The huge resistance is up here at 31. So there is a clear channel, sideways channel, that this coin has decided to trade inside. And if at any point we breach any of these supports or resistances, we know when to be buying in and when to be shorting the coin. We can also look back in prior times, if there were prior times in this on the Coinbase chart, which I'm not necessarily seeing, and that's okay. But you can see for right now what exactly we're referring to. Yes, we did breach outside that symmetrical triangle, and we are trading sideways right now. This may be some sort of pennant flag or sideways bullish bull flag forming right now, but for at this moment, we know there's a clear resistance and a clear support. So if we breach this level right here, we know we are going to be heading lower today. We are going to fall downwards. Same thing if we bounce off of it, head up higher, which is a good opportunity to capitalize off the run. But if we manage to close above resistance just like that, we know we can expect to see higher highs moving forward. So there's definitely huge opportunity right now within XLM, more than some of these other cryptocurrencies. But I now want to take our focus onto some other cryptos. You can see on XRP right now, the confusion of people and what we're seeing right now is right here. Markets are very, very, very interesting. We're hitting clear resistance. The same thing applies at 30 cents. There's a clear bottom support at 25. This is a channel that we've decided to get stuck inside. We're not really seeing any big major volume swings. We're not seeing any big major volume spikes. It's mainly just consolidating in between here. We've been using this downtrend to basically head lower, which is unfortunate, but we are basically trading in between here. So like I said, just for XLM is the same thing that applies itself with XRP. Resistance at 30, support at 25. If we breach either of those directions, we know which direction we're going to be heading to. Also zooming out right now on XRP, if it would like to load, which would be nice, it might not want to, but if it does, I was going to show you guys some interesting levels that we have to consider. Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool. So now that it loaded in, you can see kind of what we're referring to right now. You can clearly see there is some sort of consolidation where there is a support and there is a resistance. But for right now, it is just trending inside of here, and there's not really any greater good or greater gauge to figure out exactly where this coin is going to move to. Yes, we can move this slightly up. We can, use something like that, kind of, soften the gap and make this a little bit tighter. You can see what I'm referring to right now, that there is more so that a support that we're retesting currently at 27 cents and a resistance at 30. So regardless of direction, regardless of which way we're going to break, we know that if at any point we breach above 30 cents, it's going to be bullish. If we break below 27 cents, we know to short the market to the downside. All of this can be done. XLM can be shorted. XRP can be shorted. All can be done on Bityard. I did link it in the description if you guys wanted to check it out. Very easy to use, but literally they have XLM right here and a bunch of other altcoins that I know a lot of you guys wanted to take advantage of. And if you wanted to test your skills, and this is my main push, if you wanted to test your skills on learning how to trade, how to buy long, how to sell short, there is a demo account on Bityard that is huge. It gives you 100,000 USDT. It makes it extremely easy to trade around with and test your skills. And then when you feel comfortable, you can move into, buying long or selling short with actual crypto that you supply onto the exchange. But I definitely recommend it, especially if you are in the US, because I've been using it and I've had no problems using it recently, or actually at all for the past 6 months that I've even found Bityard. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Otherwise, looking at these other cryptos, Ethereum is not in a good spot. It broke bearish. It's correcting lower. There's a good chance it's going to fall to its support closer to about 1,148, maybe around there. But otherwise, it doesn't really look that great. Bitcoin also really doesn't look that great. As we discussed the bearish divergence that may have been forming on this coin, we're starting to see reason to believe that we are going to fall, especially that we just broke our 4-hour support. Let's move on to the daily. You can see it almost looks like it wants to head right back down to its support right here. So the same thing that I said with all these other cryptocurrencies is also going to apply itself with Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is there's definitely some sort of support where it's currently trending at right now. Some sort of double bottom, the M right here, or that's more so like a double top instead of a double bottom. It's going to be an interesting one. Honestly, I'm getting a little confused with Bitcoin myself. But we do have some sort of support gauged right at around where it's trending. I mean, we can slide this a little bit lower if we want. We can have this up at here. But ultimately, this is the support that it seems to use for the most part on the coin. We had support here back in January, early January. We've retested this right here just a few times. And now we're seeing it being retested here. So if we breach below this support, we know we're going to kind of see a little stumble to the downside, maybe a little bit lower, either to 29,000 or 24,000. But this may be the top that we go to. We've discussed this in the past that most of these coins are probably going to see its all-time highs and then start to stumble lower. And this may be a reflection of where we could be going moving forward. I mean, let's just take a step back. Let's look at prior highs. I mean, let's consider this. If we now look at the current movements that we're seeing within Bitcoin, you can see back in 2017, we hit a resistance up here. That was it. There was no forewarning. There was no understanding. We hit the top and we corrected lower, and that was it. That was the last time we hit this. And I honestly think we may be seeing something like that currently as the prices are now doing something very similar. We have to consider this. Look, we hit the top and that's it. We've just been headed lower. We're now setting lower highs over and over again. We have yet to breach our prior high. And now we're honestly on the verge of retesting our prior low. To break our lower low is going to allow us to continue to head downwards. And that's going to be ultimately the understanding of what could be the start of the bear market within Bitcoin. And we know once that happens, all these cryptocurrencies are going to fall as well. I mean, just looking at the resistance we had back here in 20,000, we hit it. That was it. We corrected all the way back down to 5,800. But it was one time. We had like 2 days, 3 days where we literally retested this. 2 days. And that was it. It was gone. So consider that now in the $40,000 zone. We hit it, we retested it. It was about 2 or 3 days. It might be gone. So we really have to consider that. It might be over for Bitcoin. Don't want to spread FUD, but we just have to consider that opportunity. You guys have to understand it and get it ingrained in your head that it's not going to continue to go up higher forever. There is going to be this correction. We've seen 70 to 80% corrections every 2 to 3 years. It might be that time right now. So just consider it. Same thing applies itself with Litecoin. I'm not really too focused on Bitcoin and Litecoin. S&P looks great, setting another all-time high. I mean, if you haven't invested in the stock market, I don't see why it's too late. I mean, at this point, if you're saving for the next 30 years, we've gone through 2 world wars, a Cold War, stock market crash, and we've headed up higher now. So granted, it's been a few years, but ultimately we reach up and we head up higher. So definitely something to consider. Definitely something to consider investing in. Otherwise, my main focus, like I said, is on XLM and XRP. And that's pretty much going to wrap up today's episode, guys. If you are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up as this does support the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.